Hello, in this video we're going to wrap up the obstacle course. I've replaced my plane with some terrain, which looks terrible. It's the kind of terrain I tell people not to make because it looks like a 5-year-old spent 30 seconds playing in a sandbox, and that's kind of what it is, I guess. But I just didn't want the player to be able to see the horizon. But some other bookkeeping stuff here, a little last-minute things or last details. We want the player to be able to quit the game, and in order for that to happen, we just need to write a little script that just checks to see if the escape key is down. And if the escape key is down, we'll quit the game. So in my scripts folder, I'm going to find my scripts folder here that I made, where I've been putting everything. And I'm going to make a new script called escape quit. So I just right-clicked on a blank area, said create C# script. Now let's call this escape quit. And hit enter. And let me open that up in Visual Studio. So here's that script. I don't need the start function. I'm just going to delete it. All I need is an if statement. So I'll just write if and hit tab twice. Visual Studio will complete it for me. And I just need to check if the escape key is down. So how do I do that? Well, there's a class called input that contains all of the functions for checking to see is the gamepad left, right, up, down, what buttons are down, where's the mouse, all that. There's a function called getKey and getKeyDown. GetKeyDown is kind of a single, that's the frame where the key went down for the first time. GetKey will give you key repeat events. It doesn't matter which one we use. And it checks to see if a particular key code is down, and if that key is down, it will return true. So the key code class here, and it tells you this in the IntelliSense, it says that it takes a key code. The key code class contains all of the constants for the different keys. So you can see actually in here there's like all sorts of stuff. A, B, C, all the keys on the keyboard, the function keys, joystick buttons, mouse, all that stuff. It has the escape key too. So what this does is it says call the getKeyDown function and have it check to see if that key is down. If that key is down, it will return true. The if statement will become true, and then we'll execute the body of the if statement. And to quit the application, you just say application.quit. That's it. And that is all we need to do. And actually, I'm just going to put in here debug.log by. And you'll see why in a second. So let me save that script. That's all you need. Just because every frame, because we put this code in the update function, it's going to get checked every frame. Now we just have to put this script on an object. So let's go back to the obstacle course. I could put this, if I had a game controller object in here, that would be a good place to put it. The player is always in the game, so I can just put it on the player as well. You can just drag it over here into a blank area on the player, or drag it here, or drag it there. So now every frame the player is checking to see if the escape key is down. And just to show you this, let's run it. Now what's interesting here is, let me hit the escape key. Right, so I'm hitting escape. It says bye, 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 bye. Right, but I'm not gonna crash Unity. I don't want Unity to close. So this only matters when we're running the game after it's been built. When you run your game, the user will have the option to select full screen. But if they do that, we need to have a way to quit without them going like Alt-Tab, killing a process, whatever. So, so every game that you write should have this escape quit script in it. And now that you have it, what you probably want to do is just copy it to a safe location. So what I would do is you can right-click on a blank area and say Show in Explorer. And then you'll see the scripts folder here, and you can go in there. And now you can copy out that script and put it somewhere safe so you can re-import it for all your additional projects. So now that we have our escape quit in there, let's fix one other thing. It really bugs me that everything is called sample scene. Or let's talk about scenes here. Think of a scene as a level. You could have an intro level, like an intro screen or an intro scene, and then you play the game for a little while, and maybe there's a cut scene. That would be another scene. Then you go back to playing another level. It's another scene. And then maybe you show the credits at the end. That could be a scene as well. So your game can contain many, many scenes. What I usually do is I have one scene that is just there for testing out assets and testing scripts. And then I don't put that in the final build. And you'll see here that when we go to build our project, we will have the option to select which scenes we want in our final build. Now, it drives me nuts that this thing is called sample scene. It just should be called scene 1. So let's go fix that. So in my assets folder down here, if I find the scenes folder, I can just right click or left click on this scene right here. And if I left click on the name, it will become editable. And now I'm just going to call this thing scene 1 and hit enter. And you can see up here now the name of my scene has changed. And let's save that. Another thing about scenes, when Unity starts up, some people will sometimes see nothing and they'll say, oh no, my stuff didn't save, I've lost everything. Unity opened, it just didn't open the correct scene. So if you wanted to open a particular scene, you can just do that from the file menu. So your project, a large project, will typically contain many scenes. Not all of them will be in the final build. Now that we've got our escape quit and we've got our scene name changed, let's actually go build the project. I had a problem the first time I tried to do this. If you are using one of the all sky free skyboxes, you will have the same problem. I will show you how to fix it. If you are not using one of those skyboxes, you are fine and your build will work well. So let me open up the build settings. I just went to File, Build Settings, pulled that up. You want to click Add Open Scenes, and that will add the current scene to the build. And notice you can toggle them on and off. So if you don't want a scene in the final build, just don't check it. I'm going to leave Mac, PC, Mac, and Linux as the target. And when I go to build this, it's going to ask me to pick a folder to put it in. So let me say, I'll say build and I'll just say build and run. No, build and run here. What I'm going to do is go create a folder. I'm not going to create this in my, I guess I could create it here. But I think a better thing to do is create a folder called finished games. Oh wait, maybe, where was I? Let me go back. Documents. Oh, nuts. Sorry. Unity 5 projects. Did I have a folder in here called finished games? There it is, finished games. I just created a separate folder somewhere else. And then I'm going to browse into that folder and I'm going to say select that folder. And that's where my build is going to end up. Now, normally this should work, except that because of the skybox that I imported, I will get an error. And let's go look at that. I'm going to say build and run, and let's watch what happens. Let's see. So what is it? Is it asking me to pick the finished games folder again? So it's asking me to select a folder. Let me go into finished games, and I will say select folder. And now you'll see it says cannot build player while editor is importing assets or compiling scripts. This was the error that drove me nuts. This normally does not happen. I've never seen this error before, and it's tied to the fact that we are using this skybox. Let's go take a look at this. So if you didn't get that error, you should be all set. If you do get this error, I will show you how to fix it. This all has to do with, if you go to the window menu, because I imported these all skyboxes, you'll see there's a window thingy here. So there's some code in one of these files that I imported for the skyboxes that is controlling this menu option. But the menu option doesn't exist in a built game, and that's where the error is coming from. So if I click on my console, you'll see that the error is actually an all sky free underscore menu.cs, and here is the trick. Let's double click on this error to open that up. It is this menu item that is causing the problem. So what I'm going to do is just comment out the first line here. Actually, I'm going to comment out all of this stuff here. And that should fix it, I hope. Let me go back to Unity here. And I'm going to clear my build console, or I'm going to clear my console. And now I'm going to go back to build settings. I will say build and run. I'll put it in the finished games folder. And is it building? I cannot tell. Yes, now it is building. And this may take a while if you have a lot of assets imported. And you'll see it just started up. full screen mode. And now if I hit escape, though, it'll quit out, right? Because we put in the escape quit script. Let's go look in our finished games folder and see what's there. You can see that there's a program called Obstacle Course. That's our project. And there's also this folder, Obstacle Course Data. You need both of these to be able to play the game. Like if somebody just submits Obstacle Course without the data folder, or they just copy this over to their submit folder, or you just give some college rep who you want to impress just the executable, that's not enough. You need to give them both of these. You have to give them the data folder and the application. And there you go. And now, anytime you want to run your obstacle course or play your game, just double click on it. It should ask you if you want to run it. Oh, I guess it defaults to full screen now. It used to ask you, do you want to run in windowed mode? But that's why we need the escape quit, because if we don't have that, then there's no way to quit the game easily, and it's a real pain in the neck, and it really makes your game look unpolished. So there you go. I mean, that's kind of cool. So now you should have some game that you could build and play and show people. Now, I guess, I just hope you're enjoying your project, and I hope your terrain just looks just a little bit better than mine.